Hi, welcome to the 1 in 20 show, where we're looking to find the next 1 in 20 successful individuals who are pursuing their passions so that you can too. And today we're joined by Ebie. Ebie is a multi-talented recording artist from Los Angeles, California. She is the daughter of the very successful Eazy-E, who is known as the father of gangster rap, as well as the famous NWA. She recently released a cover of Nipsey Hussel's Double Up in memory of his passing, which reminded her of her father's. She is gearing up to release her first single, Heart Hurts, and full EP to follow. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for coming out here.
No, thanks for having me.
Fighting that traffic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was brutal, but it's okay. It's worth it.
Yeah, hey, you made it. You made it. So it's really cool to have you out here and kind of start chatting a little bit more about the music industry. I haven't had a whole lot of those on quite yet, so that's going to be really neat to kind of start diving into to that bit of the show. So I'll start by asking you a little bit about your dad and his influence on hip hop. Your dad is obviously Eazy-E, who started NWA and of course, the birthplace of all of modern rap. So what kind of influence did he have on your life as far as the steps that you're taking now?
It's funny because he is my father, and obviously I feel like he's been more of an inspiration just to the culture and just the world as a whole, just his impact on everything, and just like he just broke so many barriers, you know. If we're talking about like his influence on the world and his influence on me musically, they're two separate things though. Sure. Because for my music, it is completely different than my father's. You know, he did pioneer gangster rap, and you know, I'm not a rapper for one. Definitely not a gangster rapper either. You know, I sing pop rock music, and to be honest, my musical background actually comes from my mother's side of the family. And you know, obviously because my dad is so huge and so famous and so iconic, people automatically assume like, oh, you got into music because of your dad, but that's really not the case. I actually try to say, like, you know, I'm kind of not even really for the kids always doing the exact same thing as their parent. I really advocate for people to just stay true to themselves and do what you're good at and follow your own passion and, you know, just be authentic. So I really try to fight for that. And so I do like to make it clear that, you know, we're just completely separate artists. I will say what we have in common, honestly, is more of our thinking, just being a visionary. And headstrong and just taking risks and, you know, fighting for things that we believe in. I would say we're very similar in that way. Yeah, that's awesome. I think it is important for anybody pursuing the arts to find their voice. You know, kind of, no pun intended, but in a way, I think with music as well, you kind of have to do that, right? Oh, absolutely, especially with music. And like, honestly, like in the music industry, I think that it's best to just be authentic, be true to yourself, because your fans will have to believe you to believe in you. Like, you know, I can't get out there and try to emulate my father or try to be someone else or kind of go with what somebody's trying to force me to be. It's not going to come off right because it's not real, you know. So, you know, I grew up on pop music. Like, you know, my musical influences were Gwen Stefani and Britney Spears, and Avril Lavigne was one of my greatest influences, and Spice Girls was like the first concert I ever went to. So, you know, obviously these are completely separate from my father, and obviously it just molded me into a different type of artist. And so that's what I do.
No, that's really cool. It is so important to find that niche of where you're going to land you for yourself. And, you know, I think with anybody who could say that they had a successful parent or both can say that it's hard to not like want to emulate it somehow, but at the same time, find your voice in a different way. Like for me, like my dad is in film and I'm pursuing a career in film also. But he's sound and I'm trying to go more visual, so I'm completely separate from him, but it's in the same vein.
Yeah, still in the same vein. And then also that's still a little behind the scenes, you know, where you don't technically need an image. That's more, I feel like, more of a skill, and just like it's a little different just kind of being more so like in front of the camera and just being an artist. There's just this whole image, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's just a little different. So I totally understand, like, when you're in the same business, of course, like, you know, if my father had owned an ice cream shop and I took over the ice cream shop, that's completely different from if my father's a gangster rapper and I come out and I'm trying to throw on his looks and be a gangster rapper too. And you know, and I'm a girl and I grew up in a different time, a different city, all these different things, and I have a different musical, you know, influences and background and things that I did growing up. So, you know, they're definitely different.
Yeah, very
but
different.
I mean, it's cool.
But it is cool. But you're totally right. Like the arts in particular, whatever it, you know, be music or film or TV or any of that, they all have so many paths and avenues. And I end up talking about that all the time with people because it's so interesting how you don't have to land in the exact same canal as somebody else, but you're still in the same type of industry.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Like you see that a lot, especially like I would say like in film as in acting. You know, there's a lot of families who are all actors and actresses and stuff, but again, they don't have to emulate one another. You know, between their real self and the characters they play are completely different. So again, like in music, I would feel like with famous parents, musicians and their children, a lot of it is normally trying to be the exact same.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I definitely want to stay away from that.
Yeah. There's too much of that happening right now, unfortunately. So many people are trying to. I think it's probably been with all time. Honestly, everybody tries to kind of emulate somebody, but when it comes to like the internet and all that stuff, that's just created a whole culture of copycats.
Oh yeah,
it's just the worst.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like social media has made it so crazy because you have access to seeing so much, and that's why I feel like a lot of people have lost their like authenticity because you know, you get caught up in different things that you're seeing all the time, even if it's just down to like how you dress or how you want to look and stuff. You find yourself, you know, seeing something so consistently all the time and you're like, okay, that's the end thing, maybe that's what I should be doing. But honestly, I personally don't think that's the way to go. I think you just literally have to just try and fight, even if you need to stay off of social media a little bit, just to kind of be like, okay, what do I like, you know, not don't get lost in the sauce, like just stay true to yourself. A
lot of kids, we don't have to get into this, but like a lot of kids growing up in that now who are literally handed a phone or an iPad at 4, where like you and I probably, you know, we didn't really have to see that this early on, but now their whole life they don't really have a distinction. We were kind of in the last generation of people that were able to see the difference between the two.
Absolutely. Like right there at the, like right as social media was starting. But we came from a time like we were before social media started, but we were like growing up as it was going, like rising. And now like the kids right now, that's all they know. Like you said, they don't know the before, so there is no distinction. It's like literally just whatever they're seeing in their phone, as if, you know, we got to go outside and you see our own friends or just find the things that we were really just into without seeing what the masses were focused on daily.
Right. And I think I'm seeing a running theme too already just with this conversation is you see so many ways that, you know, you could hit the mainstream. It's easy to succeed that way. But people need to understand that the way to be like the next step, the next level, next generation is to go and, you know, pave a path for yourself. Kind of like what your dad did, kind of what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Because it's a new way to get to where you want to be and get everybody else to listen. So in that vein, let's talk about the passing of Nipsey Hussel, which is very sad and too short-lived. I mean, honestly, it kind of went here and there right out the media. And, you know, it was there for a while. But so you did a cover of Double Up.
Yes.
And you sang some vocals over the top of that, which is really neat.
Thank you.
I noticed that you were kind of talking about likening the presence of his death in the hip hop culture to kind of your dad's and how it kind of shook the whole, you know, groundwork of it. What did that kind of mean to you as a whole and to your career as well?
Honestly, like, the reason why I even chose Double Up is, one, because that was one of my favorite records on the album, but two, just the name of it, the double, just, it was so synonymous to me for him and my father being two people that were so similar. Even though their passing was in completely different ways, it still was early 30s. These, like I said, these culture shifters, these huge influences, these powerful voices, they were just so similar in that way. And just being visionaries and, you know, really getting somewhere and trying to influence the younger generation and just having a voice and also putting their team on and fighting for the people around them. And, you know, all those things, they were just so similar to me. It really just, I think it just hit me like a lot harder. And I kind of talked about this at the beginning of the video, but when my father passed away, I was really young, and throughout my life, like, I have not dealt with death well at all. I typically just kind of act like it didn't happen, and
Sure.
I just don't face it. And with Nipsey's passing, it just really brought up a lot of like suppressed emotions that I had, and really started kind of like a process of dealing with that trauma for me. Because again, like, I'm older now, so to be able to see something that was so similar to my father's death, it just hit me differently. And like I said, I feel like I've been starting the process of like just dealing with those emotions, and it was really therapeutic to me as well to just even sing the record and even shoot the video itself. I chose to do something very simple where it didn't overpower the record, and you still got just really like my dedication, like, that came across, and just my emotions. But then also, I did want to showcase myself as the artist Ebie, and like that was my real drummer MO in the video. And just for people to just kind of just hear me, and also just kind of follow my journey, because like that was real. Those are real emotions. The footage at the beginning is really from the day of Nipsey's funeral. It was all genuine, and I feel like it was just something that I needed to do for myself. And then also, I just feel like it's really important to shed light on Nipsey at any given time, just for him and my father. I do think that my father's legacy, throughout the years, on and off, it has been overlooked and just kind of
buried under the rug a little bit.
Yeah, and and honestly, I don't want that to happen to anyone else. And so I think that it was just kind of important to just shed some more light on Nipsey.
Yeah, people who haven't seen it, you should go check it out. It's cool. I love the tribute at the beginning is really cool. Like you mentioned it. Just the fact that you're standing on the corner kind of watching it all go by, and like, I love the voiceover, so encouraging, and it's a good message. It's like a good thing for people to think about. And it's unique for a music video, because a lot of people really aren't doing that kind of thing anymore.
Right. Just raw and real.
Yeah. And I was just talking to the guys today before you showed up about there's a desire, I think, deep down for people to have that meaningful content again in the arts in general, whatever medium it is. I think after a while, the whole internet thing is going to go away, as far as the glorifying the dumb stars, right?
Honestly,
and it has to. I think it has to at some point.
I feel so good to like be sitting with someone else who thinks like me and kind of has high hopes like that.
Well, you're in it too, I know.
Yeah, because
you see it.
For many years, I mean, recent years, like it's just full of crap to me. Like, and it's been hard for myself, honestly, to really just kind of like break through, because I still have been so real and so raw and true to myself. And, I haven't really given into the just doing any old thing to get to the top. It's taken longer, honestly, but I think that it's much more worth it this way. And, when I'm finally there, I think I'm gonna be a lot more proud. Yeah.
And you knew Nipsey, right?
So I had met Nipsey. Yes. We had a lot of mutual friends.
I'm sure.
And a lot of mutual friends. Sure. I did speak with him about possibly working one day. Wow. And unfortunately, that never got to happen.
How long before was that?
You know what? That wasn't even too long. That was late last year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was late last year. So it was just, when that happened, I mean, honestly, it just like rocked my world. Like, it was just.
Well, and the similarities tragic, are almost like kind of insane. Just two LA based rappers, two guys that kind of go against the grain. Like, I don't think anybody would put Nipsey or your dad in the same category as any of the other mainstream rappers. Right. They're just different, and they were great in their own right.
Oh yeah.
But something you mentioned about your dad a little bit was, like, I think he got buried under the rug a little bit too, because this is just what I think, but because the other two didn't die, You know what I'm saying? Like those guys lived on,
right?
And he didn't have the chance. People didn't realize, you know, Dre and Cube went on to do awesome stuff,
right?
But your dad would have too, I think. If
absolutely.
You know, there's no doubt.
Probably even more. To be honest,
he started
you know, the things
yeah.
that they are doing in these recent years, you know, he actually was starting to do back before he passed, which we're talking 1995 and before then. So that's we're almost going on 25 years here.
Right.
So you're looking at someone who's even at 30 years old, 25 years ago was doing things that they're doing now. So like there's literally like no telling like how huge he would be at this point. Yeah,
and hip hop would be different too. I'm just a white boy sitting here, but I will say that the hip hop genre is so like fabulous. The whole thing is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like everybody's over the top doing their own thing and spitting their own message, but they're saying their truth. Right. And a lot of people don't do that. So let's talk about you now.
Okay.
With kind of that influence in your life a little bit. I know you didn't know your dad very long either, but I think it's probably in your blood a little bit to stand out, right? With what you're trying to do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Like I said, I have a lot of my father in me. The only difference I would say is our music, but just as people, you know, just really even down to, you know, I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually working on a documentary about my dad.
Yes, I did hear about that.
Okay, well, we'll probably get into that. But
cool.
In that documentary, it's actually based on a lot of the scandals surrounding his death.
Right.
But there will be a lot about his life before passing, you know, that they didn't show in the movie Straight Outta Compton. A lot of things that people missed out on that don't know about him. Like, you know, just like I said, him being an innovator, him doing he was branching out into doing a lot of different ventures that people don't know about. He did a lot of charity work that people didn't know about. There's so much to Eazy-E that people don't know that they'll finally get to learn.
That's awesome.
And those things that he had are definitely just inside of me. Those are just things that I naturally do. You know, obviously, you know, he did pass away when I was really young, so it's not like I had him here and I was just growing up doing it with him. No, like these are things that I genuinely just do out of my own heart and my own passion.
Sure.
So I would say, yeah, we're very similar in like those kind of ways.
Yeah. So talk about your music now. Let's go into we were way down here. Let's bring it up. Let's not be sad or anything, but that's wonderful. We'll talk more about the documentary and stuff in a little bit. But so you mentioned your music. You modeled yourself after Avril Lavigne and different people like that. So what is your music and like what are you trying to do with it?
So right now, I'm actually gearing up to release my first single. It's titled Heart Hurts.
Cool.
And I've put out music like throughout the years, but like honestly, I think I was a perfectionist, and that's really a gift and a curse. So let people know it's not always the best to be a perfectionist because, you know, honestly, it did kind of put me behind times because I wouldn't say that I was like afraid to do things, but I feel like I was always looking for something to just be better or look better or sound a little better or just be like the absolute most perfect product before I released it. But honestly, like I feel like some of my things that I might have thought were my worst things are better than a lot of things that are out today. So I kind of regret not just releasing so much music, but also things have changed so much. Like now, I mean, of course, we had YouTube for a really long time, but you know, now with SoundCloud and the Spotify's and the Apple Music and all these like avenues where you can really just do things yourself from home if necessary. Like I didn't really have that, you know, the whole time I was doing music. So it was a little different ball game, but yeah, if you go back, even look on, I have some old music like out on YouTube. You'll see I've been doing pop music forever, but like pop rock, like rock influence music. Now I'm still doing the same thing. I would say some of my music has a little bit more urban influence in it, but it's still pop rock based. I would say because people are always like, well, like what's it most similar to? And I would say maybe like a Halsey or you know,
you definitely sound. I've heard some of it.
I actually did a Halsey cover to Now or Never.
Cool.
Something like that. And again, I'm gearing up to release my first single, Heart Hurts, and I'm super stoked about that. That record, I would say like the beat itself, it has a lot of like my musical influences. Like it's like EDM meets rock meets pop meets hip hop.
A fusion.
It's a fusion of all of those things, and it's about a breakup. It's about a breakup, and honestly, it's you know, it's just kind of what everyone goes through like right after breaking up with like the love of their life. And
Sure.
you know, this is not just geared towards women, because believe it or not, most men experience heartache too, you know what I mean? So
Thank you.
yeah, you know,
It's
they
not
might
always talked about.
not say it
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatnot,
Sure.
but trust me, you know, you guys feel it.
Sure.
And so that's what the record is really about. It's just really the emotion that you typically feel right after a breakup. And you know, I think that it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to cry or to admit that your heart is hurting. And that's all, to me, that's all a part of the healing process.
Awesome. That's a really good message. Is that kind of theme at all tied to a future album or anything like that?
So I am going to be doing an EP. I'll do
Cool.
like a full project, but it'll probably only be like maybe 5 or 6 songs. That will be the first one from it. I'm just not doing like releasing a whole
release.
project at one time.
Smart.
I'm still working right now. I have tons of records, but just really fine tuning like my actual project. I do want to like throw this record out, and then maybe the second one, and then maybe the full project all together.
Yeah.
And really soon after even releasing this first single, like, you know, I do want to start touring or doing shows and stuff like that, and really just building my fan base as an artist. Because, you know, my background, I did do a lot of reality television back in the day when it kind of first blew up, you know, from MTV's Super Sweet 16, and then I did a spinoff called Exiled and tons of things with MTV, and I really did build a fan base as like Eazy-E's daughter and like the TV personality, but like I really want to just be Ebie, and I want to have Ebie fans who love my music and my message and all those things. So that's what I'm most excited about right now.
Totally. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I was going to ask about that, because I'm sure that you've been seeing, because anything that I've ever seen of you on the internet has that like as a title, like, you know,
Eazy-E's daughter.
But I know that you have more to offer. That's just the stupid media doing its thing again. But that's really cool that you're kind of gearing that whole release up, and you're doing all that stuff to build the fan base.
Yeah, and you know, like, it's not to say like I don't want like to be a part of like my dad's stuff. It's just that honestly, like, he has been gone for a really long time, and I just feel like I do have enough talent in my own right. No pun intended. Our last name.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want anybody to feel like it was a given to me, or like I'm only big or blowing up because my dad's Eazy-E, and that's not the case. Like, you know, I have not even had any help. Everything that I've done has been on my own, and like, again, I'm a completely different artist, you know, and there's been no favors called upon from my dad to anybody in this industry. This is a lot of my own hard work, and you know, I am just really looking forward to being Ebie, and then you know, maybe people end up finding out, they're like, you know, that Eazy-E happens to be her dad. I would much rather prefer that rather than like, you know, like, oh, here comes Eazy-E's daughter Ebie. Like, you know, I don't want that.
No,
but,
no.
You know,
Plus, you won't be rapping.
I love my dad, of course. Like, and I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing that he's iconic. Like, to be the child of someone like that. I mean, it's crazy. It's amazing. But again, like, you know,
got to make your mark.
I do want to make my own mark in this industry.
So I'm curious to see kind of your process as far as developing, because a lot of what we talk about is like building your brand as a person and what your talent is, and more than that, like what your reach is and how do you build an audience, all that stuff. So I'm curious to see, you mentioned touring. Obviously you're going to release stuff, but how does that full package you see right now evolve over time?
Right now, honestly, the internet, it's like the biggest thing. Like, there's
Love it and hate it, you
no
use it.
escaping it. Like, honestly, you know, I have, just because a lot of people, you know, they were used to seeing me on TV, and I do have a pretty big personality, especially for my little self. So I mean, I do plan on doing a little bit of vlogging, not necessarily just like how like YouTubers are doing like pranks and weird stuff and all that. I'm not doing that. It's more like I don't know if you've seen like Wiz Khalifa's like day to day, like more something like that, like kind of a behind the scenes of like what's going on with me as an artist, just to give people like an insight, and honestly to just kind of grow with me, just watch me as I am going through this process, because there's things there I've experienced a lot. Like, my mom's been a music manager for over 25 years, and I've literally grown up in this business even without my father being here. There's a lot that I know, there is a lot that I've experienced, but there's still so much that I haven't. And so I think for people to kind of jump in right now, this is with tech. Even though I've put out music before and I've done things, I would say this is really the beginning of me, like really getting going as the artist. So, you know, just jumping in and really coming along for that ride. And, you know, I've seen that literally with artists myself. Like I remember seeing Justin Bieber on YouTube. I remember seeing Ariana Grande on YouTube and loving them. Like oh my goodness, this person's gonna be big. I remember hearing Billie Eilish on SoundCloud. Like, and I'm like, yo, this girl is gonna be huge. Like, and when they blow up, you feel a part of it. And that's me. I'm an artist, and like that's just the fan side of me, and like loving music and loving, you know, just kind of like, just people just I feel are really talented and who have it. You know, and so I know that it will be the same thing with me. I would love to give other, you know, fans or my fans that same opportunity that I feel like I've had with other people.
Yeah, totally. Well, let's take it to a break real quick, and then we'll come right back. So anyway, okay, we're back. So let's talk a little bit about. I'm interested in your perspective on pop culture because we kind of talked about it a little bit.
Okay.
You know, by definition, pop is popular culture,
right?
Obviously, and that's not always the truth or the answer to the world's problems. Oftentimes, it's like so not at all. What's your viewpoint on like the benefits of it and the disadvantages of kind of being in the mainstream now with internet and all that stuff?
I would say the benefit is like a faster reach, kind of.
Yeah.
The not so great part is everything is so saturated.
So saturated.
Because everyone has the same access. Before social media or the internet, you had to really, really be talented enough. You had to know the right people to get that talent out. There was a team. There was a team of people parading behind you, kind of helping get you to the top. And, you know, so I feel like so much time, energy, money, everything, creativity, all that was put into an artist. Yeah. And now it's kind of like you just go out there. A lot of things are number based, and
it's
the
all
numbers
number based.
To me the numbers are not important because you can get the numbers any kind of way. You know, you can go viral doing something so ridiculous and next thing you know, you have a record deal and you have a song out that's streaming and you're making money, and it's like somebody over here who's like literally like extremely talented, dedicated their lives to like molding their talent perfectly and, you know, making these records and be like literally working out and making sure you look right and having, you know, I'm just saying, rehearsing and, you know, putting together maybe your band or whatever your show is or like whatever. It won't even matter because they're like, okay, well, this one has numbers over here. You haven't built yourself up yet. And even for me, you know, a lot of the television stuff I did was pre-social media. So, you know, being on MTV, that's in 60 countries. It was everything. It's everything.
It still is, but it was everything. So,
like, I had so many fans, like, all around the world. Like, I traveled to Israel. I traveled to Japan. People were coming here, of course, and I would see people in the mall, and they're like, oh, my God, they're from Sweet 16, or oh, my God, this and that. And, you know, this was... If I had social media, I'd probably be one of those people with millions of followers. But, you know, just kind of that being pre-social media era, it was, like, really hard to translate into that. And, again, like, there's so much that I feel like I've worked for and so many things that I've done. But there's other people whose numbers are, you know, they say something different. And, you know, they have had more opportunities than I've had. And, like I said...
it sucks.
Yeah, you know, I think... you had to work a lot harder pre-social media. Now it's like you got to work a lot smarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not harder. Yeah, there's nothing you can do to make... there's really nothing you can push to make a block fall. Honestly, it's just smart. You have to be smarter. You're right. But the numbers thing is big because I think what it's doing, and this is something kind of interesting, is it's pretty obvious people are missing what their true value is if they're in the spotlight or if they're not. And I think it's almost worse for people who aren't because, you know, I have friends who, like, in the film side of things, behind the camera stuff, will shoot a whole short or something like that and look at it and think it's total crap because it's not getting the recognition that they think it deserves and all of that stuff. But then it makes them devalue their work.
Right.
Their work could be perfectly good. But that's the issue, is that people are seeking after the stuff that does not matter at all.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
When will they ever turn around? Will they? I don't know. I think the internet made it worse.
Yeah.
Than it was. I think it's always been there. Oh,
absolutely. But I think it's also it has truly watered down talent so much. Because like I said, it's saturated. The access, you can do anything, and you can get famous any kind of way. Yeah. And you know, those people just get that platform, and it's kind of crazy, like, you know, with having that platform and you have tons of followers and people, you know, the word followers itself, it's like a cult. Like, these people, they're literally following everything like you say and everything you do, like, literally. So it's like you have that stage and that moment to say and do whatever and to influence your followers, your following. And you know, most of it is not that great. That's just my opinion. And you know, again, there's people like me who, you know, just trying. And you know, I still say I'm proud of myself for just sticking it out and not really giving into what's going on and just kind of trying to get it the fast way. Because you know, I feel like you also, you know, you lose it how you get it too. Totally. And that's another thing. And you know, I want to have longevity in this industry. Sure.
The thing that is really hilarious to me is that everybody looks at the numbers, right? But nobody's thinking like, oh, I actually have to make money. You know what I mean? Like, of course, the people who make it big are making money that way through brand deals and whatnot. But the true American dream should be, I need to make money for my family, and I would want to, in order to be successful, have a full-time career or whatever, and then keep pursuing the money milestones. Right. Not that you want to be rich, but like everybody I think wants to, but I mean,
it's like, we all want to be rich.
Yeah. But in a way, like, success used to be measured by that because the internet wasn't a thing. I mean, TV, when it came out in movies, like, everybody liked that. But if you're not making money, what are you doing? That's what I always think. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. So when you think of music, music is something that's not always easy to make money in. Yeah. The arts in general are not something that's easy to make money in. And something I end up talking about a lot is that you do things and you take opportunities that come to get you to that next level, whether or not you really think it's the best thing right yet. Do you agree with that kind of a mentality?
There have been tons of things that I have passed on, opportunities that I do think could have gotten me somewhere. But overall, like, I am a visionary, and I have an overall idea of like what I want my brand to be and kind of what I want to stand for, what I advocate for, and also the things that I kind of want to, you know, just use my platform. You know, it's not the biggest platform yet, but it will be. It's one. You know, it is a platform. You know, I want to inspire other girls and other people really that are just really fighting the fight like me, and I want them to see that it is possible, you know. So.
Speak a little bit to because I know that, like, in the media, you know, in just historically, like, women in the media have just, you know, it's obvious, like, with the whole feminist rise and stuff, like, women haven't been respected as much as, like, some of the men, the big business owners and whatnot. And I'm for that side, that I think women need to be more represented in the media and all that stuff. And I think it should be equal, is what I mean. Not one over the other, right? Necessarily. But something that's interesting for me in the show is, like, I'm trying to get more women on the show as well, because I'm always thinking of diversifying. Nice. And I know probably for you too, like, in your music, you're probably thinking like, okay, well, what steps do I have to take to be relevant? But, like, what's still me? Right. Are you always thinking about that kind of thing?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Otherwise, I'd be doing, like, I don't know, bikini pictures every day, and you know, like, whatever it takes, you know, sex sells and all that. But it's you know, I'm a rock star.
Do rock star things. Oh, yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. So how would you say that some of your inspirations that you mentioned earlier, for you, like, how would you say that modeling yourself after them has, like, crafted your style in rock and pop and all of that stuff?
I would say it's really just, like, the connection to their music and just, like, their style of people, you know. To be honest, I'll even go, like, just backing it up to the people that I mentioned. We're talking Avril, Pink, Gwen Stefani. Their style is so similar to me, not just their music, but as women. They're very strong women, as you can see. I grew up a tomboy. I'm, like, big sports fanatic. Like, I would say 95% of my friends are guys. You know, I felt like I'm one of the boys. And I think that I think that's why I connected with them so much too. You know, like being the cool, fun, crazy girl that rolls with all the boys, like that. I think that really got to me. And then again, you know, if you listen to their music, it is very emotional. And I'm big on astrology too. And I'm a Cancer. Cool. I'm very sensitive. I'm extremely emotional, sure. and all that. And you know, so their music and style just resonated so much with me. I dived headfirst into it. Like those are the records that I still play all day, every day in my Apple Music. Even though I have access to every song possible, I find myself listening to Avril. I'm With You, and you know, those records like every day. So you know, when I first started doing music, I think a lot of people, I started doing music at like 12 years old, and you know, but I grew up honestly, like even in school, like I was in the chorus, and I did a lot of things, and but when I was like 12, we like, okay, let's do some music. And he thought, we'll do some kiddie rap. Of course, you know, you're Eazy's daughter, do some rap. And then, you know, I knew I wanted to sing. And, you know yourself, you know the things that you're really passionate about. And, you know, like I said, my musical background comes from my mother's side of the family. And, you know, everybody sings. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, everybody. So I'm like, I want to be a singer. You know, I remember thinking, I've said this in an interview before. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to have to rap, if this is like the thing you guys are using for marketing, that I want to sing too. So I'm going to be Lauryn Hill or something. You know, I was trying to figure it out. But then I'm as I started like developing as an artist, because again, my mom was a music manager and she always managed producers. And we had a studio in my home. I always had producers literally in and out of our home, like living with us and whatnot, and working with other artists as well. So cool. When I started developing myself as an artist, I found myself gravitating towards music that sounded like Gwen, Avril, Pink, all that. Sure. So I'm like, no, you know what? I'm not even Lauryn Hill. Like literally, I'm Avril. I also loved hip hop so much. So I used to tell people, I'm like if Avril Lavigne and Kanye West had a baby, you'd get Ebie. Like that's the perfect mix of me. Like that's just, quite a mix. You know, I'm extremely diverse. You know, just from music, from the way that I dress, and then just even culturally, like I am mixed. You know, some people, they're like, what the heck are you? You know, your dad's this black rapper. But you know, my mom's actually white Jewish. Well, she's mixed. She's white, black, and Spanish, but we're Jewish. And you know, I grew up in a diverse city, and I've had many different friends from all different walks of life. I've traveled the world. I've seen so much. So to me, like I cannot be put in a box.
And all of those things that you mentioned all make you.
Yep, absolutely.
Which is the important thing about, I think, any artistic venture, is that you are able, and it sounds like you definitely are, but you're able to say, okay, this is me. I know who I am. Oh, yeah. I know how I can stray outside the bounds of who I am to just meet culture. I know how I can do the opposite, and I need to figure out what that product is that I'm going to give people, whatever career path it is. Exactly. And that sounds like what you're doing, which is awesome.
You're so smart.
It's really good. Oh, hey. No, it's great. It's really great. But yeah, this has been cool. It's a good chat. I've got basically all of it out. I think we got some good stuff. Nice. So if you want into camera, you can just kind of talk about your future plans, like your EP and your single coming out and all that stuff. So go ahead, wherever you want.
All right, everybody. Well, this is Ebie. I will say my social media.
Yeah, say it. Spit it out.
The crazy stuff we talked about that I need. My Instagram is just @Ebie. That's EBIE. My Twitter is We Want Ebie, as well as my YouTube is all We Want Ebie, SoundCloud We Want Ebie, and I'm gearing up to release my first official single, Heart Hurts, and I'm super excited about it. I think you guys are gonna love it so much. I think it's gonna resonate with a lot of people who have ever experienced any kind of heartbreak or anything, just any pain. And I'm just looking forward to touring soon and, you know, getting on that stage and really showing you guys what I got and just giving you all of Ebie.
That's awesome. Great to have you on. It's been
thanks
good
for having
time,
me.
Really good time.
Yeah.
We flew by. I mean, it's like 40 minutes already.
Was it?
Great. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm like, are we going to have enough for 25 minutes? You're like, yeah.
Yeah, we flew past that.
Definitely.
Yeah, long ago. I just didn't say anything. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. You can follow us at 1 in 20 Show on everything. Find us on YouTube if you want to watch or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. Thanks for following us and doing all that. We're growing every day. Lots of new guests coming out. You're episode 42, I think, which is awesome in a year. So we're kind of cranking them out.
Oh, yeah.
It's been great. Yeah, it's been awesome. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you soon.